Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 73 today. Today is Wednesday, and we are one step closer to the Super Bowl in the NFL. How are we doing today, Easton?
Good. I'm just long day, even though it's only 4.
Yeah.
I'm tired already.
I feel like that's how it's been lately. Just the weather, I guess, is probably getting everyone.
Is that one of yours?
Yeah, this one's
Okay.
Why would it not be?
What?
So yeah, today we have a lot of NFL news. Or not really news, just talk. We're gonna discuss the games that happened, the championship round games that happened last weekend. Do some NBA talk, and then we have another list that we're doing from the NBA today. So yeah, let's just hop right into it. First thing I want to say is rest in peace to a couple people. First, baseball legend Hank Aaron, home run hitting legend, passed away last week. We haven't done a podcast since he passed away. I know it seems like a while ago now, but thoughts and prayers out to his family for sure. And then Sekou Smith, ESPN NBA analyst, passed away due to COVID-19. Was in his late 40s, died way too young, and I just want to say rest in peace to him as well. And to Kobe and Gigi and everyone in that, because that whole thing was yesterday too. So
prayers for all their families.
Yeah, there's just been so many sports legends that have like died in the last not so long of time. So
Yeah,
it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's move on to some better news. Karis LeVert is going to play basketball again. That was a huge discussion when he got traded to Indiana. He did in his physical he had to take. There was a mass on his kidney. And they got it. He had surgery for it, got the cancerous mass removed, and he's going to be out indefinitely. I doubt he will play the rest of this season, unless obviously Indiana's a team that will probably make the playoffs. So maybe a playoff return, but it's just good to know that LeVert is going to play again.
Yeah, it's really good to hear. Just knowing that everything went smoothly so far. The surgery was successful, and they said he'll be back to full health soon. I mean, not soon, but eventually we'll be back to full health.
And it's just. For LeVert, a guy who is really at the peak of his career right now. I mean, he's probably playing the best basketball he ever has this season so far. So
he was he was breaking out into his full prime.
Yeah,
Karis
and
LeVert.
so this is just big news for him, and I hope that he can come back and play for Indiana because he fits right in with them. So
yeah, he does. It's almost a perfect fit in Indiana for a guy like Karis LeVert.
Yeah. So next on the news, some more NBA news. The All-Star game this year was not supposed to happen. They pretty much just said they're going to have an All-Star weekend, but no All-Star game. And the All-Star weekend is going to be a little longer. I think it's a full week. But they are entertaining the possibility of having an All-Star game in March. Obviously, everything is pushed back this year. Usually the All-Star game is in early February. But they're talking about having a game in March, which, I mean, I don't see why it couldn't happen. Like, I understand, they want to have the break to make sure everyone is free of COVID and everything, which I agree with the break, but I think they could make a game happen.
Yeah, me too, especially if all players are being tested daily. You'd think they could make, just all the All-Stars play. And you'd almost have to have maybe some honorary All-Stars, like backups, just in case.
Oh, yeah. And they always do as soon as guys get, like, if there's I would say at least one time a year, there's after the All-Stars are announced, one of them gets hurt and somebody has to replace him.
Yeah, good point.
Devin Booker replacing Damian Lillard last year was the one that happened. So, yeah, they'll definitely be prepared for a scenario like that. Last thing on the news: former Pittsburgh Steelers Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, who both missed their games last week, will play in the Super Bowl without Big Ben,
which is nuts.
That's crazy that the star wide receiver, star running back on different teams will play against each other in the Super Bowl. So shout out to them. They will be playing along with Antoine Winfield is also going to be active for the Bucs after missing last week. So are we ready to talk about the games? About the 2 NFL games from Sunday. First one was the Bucs Packers. The Bucs win this one 31-26. Tom Brady, 20 of 36 for 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Leonard Fournette had a good game on the ground, 12 carries for 55 yards plus a touchdown. Chris Godwin had 5 catches for 110 yards. On the Packers side of things, Aaron Rodgers, 33 of 48, so a lot of passes for them. 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Devontae Adams, 9 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown, and Aaron Jones limited to only 6 carries for 27 yards.
right off the bat, it is nuts that a player can throw 3 interceptions in a NFC Championship game and still win the game.
Yeah, exactly.
It shows how good the Bucs defense really is. And if I'm Kansas City, I'm a little nervous because that's 3 extra possessions that Green Bay's getting without scores of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay didn't get, and they still only scored 26 points. That is nuts. The Bucs defense played really well. I mean, 26 points.
To a hot offense and especially in the playoffs, offenses will definitely commit to either we're going to run the ball a lot or we're going to pass the ball a lot. And Green Bay decided we're going to pass the ball a lot with Aaron Rodgers. Held them to 20. I mean, 26 is not, it's not like it's a low scoring game or anything, but for the amount of possessions and time, I assume they dominated the time of possession in this game as well. So a couple of questions I have from this game. First things first, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, they discussed this on their show Monday morning. Packers down by 5 late in this game. 4th and goal, let's talk about the 3rd and goal play first, actually. 3rd and goal, Aaron Rodgers rolls out, and it looks like he can just run it into the end zone, decides to throw it, and doesn't get the completion. Do you think he should have taken off and run the ball there? Do you think he choked? Or
I don't know if it's choking because I don't know how the MVP of the league is harder for him to, I don't know. In that situation, I don't know if he could have made it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to think he could, but I don't know. It's Aaron Rodgers knows himself better than I do. I mean, he's the MVP quarterback this year. He knows he is the MVP this year. He knows what to do more than I do. So in that situation, I don't know whether to say he choked or not, because maybe he didn't think he'd get it. I mean, so I don't know. What do you think he choked?
No, I'm kind of on your side of things. I mean, I saw a different the angle of the regular camera shows that, oh my God, why did he not run it in? But then you look at the other angle, like from Aaron Rodgers' perspective, he's got Devin White right here where he might be able to outrun, but then he's got another corner on the outside that's just hiding behind a receiver. You can't really tell. So from his angle, it doesn't look like he could have run it in. I doubt if it even crossed his mind. But next play, 4th down. It's 4th and goal. It was in between the 5 and 10. It was from the 7 or 8 or something. And Matt LaFleur decides to kick the field goal and rely on his defense to get a stop to get the Packers the ball back and try to score a touchdown. What do you think of this play call? Decide to take the 3 points, make it a 5-point game.
I think it's actually crazy to think that your defense is going to stop Tom Brady the 4th time in the game. They've already picked him off 3 times.
Yeah.
You expect them to go out and have a 3
and obviously
out?
They're not going to, I mean, they wouldn't have been passing the ball. They've been trying to run the clock out and everything. But
so I think that, I think most people agree with me that was an awful call, that you have to go for the touchdown because you can't rely on your defense versus a vet quarterback and a veteran team at that point. I mean, it's a young-ish team, but not really.
Their defense is younger, but their offense is definitely a veteran type offense for sure.
And it's led by Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't rely on somebody like that to just get stopped. You rely on Aaron Rodgers, your MVP, to make the play to score the touchdown. You don't rely on your defense, who isn't the MVP of the league, and was a good defense all game. They already did everything they could.
I mean, they were a good I mean, the thing is, though, they got 3 interceptions, but when they weren't getting the interceptions, Tampa was scoring.
Yeah,
so
they did have 31.
They really didn't. I mean, Packers defense did a good job getting turnovers, but as far as stopping the Bucs offense, they didn't do a good job of that at all. I completely disagree with the call as well. Just Matt LaFleur has definitely been a good coach so far in his 2 years in the NFL. Been a very good coach, actually, for his first 2 seasons. Good. Made it to back-to-back NFC Championship games. But in that scenario, you're down by 8 points, so you need a touchdown and the 2-point. I really don't get it at all because taking 3, you still need to get a touchdown. You still need to get the ball back, and then maybe if your team was down by 6 and you cut it to you kicking the field goal makes it a 3-point game, so all you have to do is get another field goal to tie it up. But I do not understand the call to not go for it in that game, especially you have nothing to lose. I guess you're gonna, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
You have to score there. You have to score a touchdown.
It's just you can't really just rely on, okay, we'll get a touchdown next time. You got to get the ball back first. And they didn't, So I definitely would have gone for it. Trust in Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers was happy with the play call after the game. Aaron Rodgers said that it wasn't his choice to not go for it. I guarantee if it was his choice, they would have gone for it. So
well, and immediately after the game, we'll talk about this later more, but he says right away after the game that I'm unsure about my future.
Yeah, I mean that's
but he backtracked.
Little paraphrase there. I mean, he didn't just come out and say I'm on. They asked him, "What is your future?" And he said, "I'm not sure. None of us. It's the future of this team is unknown."
Did you see he backtracked on the statement the other day?
What'd he say?
I don't remember what exactly he said. I remember he backtracked on it. He said I didn't mean it like that, as in, which makes sense.
Yeah,
looking at the original quote.
Yeah, exactly. But the Buccaneers win this game. Tom Brady is now going to his 10th Super Bowl. Tom Brady has the most playoff wins in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history as their quarterback, which is crazy already. He has more NFC playoff wins wins against NFC teams in the playoffs than Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. I mean, it's crazy the greatness of Tom Brady. And whether you are, a lot of people hated on Tom Brady, saying this game he threw 3 picks, blah, 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 this and that. I feel like you have to respect greatness to a certain level.
You do. There's only 2 players in their sports right now to make it to 10 of the championship in whatever sport they're playing. It's LeBron and Brady, and and Brady is just, you can't hate on him. I mean, you can hate on him, but you have to respect him.
That's it's very. I feel like if you don't at least respect how crazy that is, that he's just been that dominant, it's just like. Obviously it's easy for us, from Michigan. He went to Michigan. I mean, it's a little different because I'm not a Michigan fan, but it's just I don't get how there was just a lot of Tom Brady hate after this game, a lot.
And I don't. It was the whole how imagine throwing 3 picks and still winning the game kind of deal. You get so lucky. It's just I get that, but it's the 9 other Super Bowl appearances too.
Yeah.
He didn't do that in every Super Bowl appearance.
So, do you want to talk about the Packers right now and as far as their, what they need to do, or do you want to go on to the next game?
We can go on to the next game.
All right, and then we'll talk about that after. All right, so the next game, Chiefs, Bills, battle of the 1 and 2 seed in the AFC. Chiefs win this one, 38-24. It really wasn't even... It wasn't even a 14-point game. It was very dominated by the Chiefs the entire game. Patrick Mahomes, 29 of 38 for 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches for 172 yards. Travis Kelce, 13 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Darrell Williams had 13 carries for 52 yards plus a touchdown as well. On the other side of the ball, Josh Allen, 28 of 48 for 287 yards, 2 picks plus an interception. He also had 7 carries for 88 yards, so had a almost 350 yards total for him. Stephon Diggs, 6 catches for 77 yards, and Cole Beasley, 7 for 88.
You really saw the dominance of having a duo like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in this game, and what it means to have that kind of guy. I mean, 118 and 172 between 2 of your receivers is nuts. I Travis Kelce's a tight end, but
yeah, and I get what you mean. There isn't a better offensive trio in the entire league than Mahomes and Tyreek and Kelce. I mean, it's whether you can include a running back in there as well. There is not a better trio in the league than them 3. And they just connect so well. No one can stop Tyreek Hill. No one can keep up with him. They have Tre'Davious White, one of the best corners in the NFL. Wasn't there. This Chiefs offense was missing Sammy Watkins, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or no, not Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, I meant. Sammy Watkins and Le'Veon Bell out, and Eric Fisher, their left tackle, goes down with an injury in this game as well. Does not return. And they still just dominated.
Yeah.
No one can stop those 2.
The incredible plays they run when Travis Kelce's running and they send Tyreek Hill right behind him, or vice versa. They literally just run in the line and he just picks whichever one he wants to throw to. Their offensive play calling is nuts. It is so creative and just it's unbelievable. They play like they're playing backyard football.
Yeah,
it's just here, you go here, we'll do this. Let's just see if it works.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just and it doesn't always work.
It doesn't. But
they'll come out and do those type of things on first down. They don't wait till 3rd, 4th down when their backs are against the wall and shit. We gotta run a trick play. They're gonna have first down. let's see what happens if we run a reverse.
The Bills' defense in this one, like we said, they've been impressive the last couple games, holding the Ravens' offense to single-digit points in the game before. Just couldn't keep up with this Chiefs offense. The Bills are just becoming another one of these AFC teams that are just going to struggle to get through the Chiefs these next several years. I mean, the Chiefs are for sure. This is the start of a dynasty in Kansas City. They have, like we said, they have a really terrible cap situation in the upcoming future, but up until that point, they're going to be very good, and they continue to show it in this game. And anything else about the Chiefs you want to talk about?
There's nothing else that really needs to be said.
So let's talk about the Bills first while we're on this game. We did this last weekend with all of the 4 teams that lost. So let's get into it. What do the Bills need to do next year to get back to this point, or what is just their plan for next season?
I think a lot of it is letting Josh Allen grow for another year, because there's no way Josh Allen has peaked as a quarterback yet. And he didn't play bad. I mean, when you're throwing the ball 48 times, you're probably going to have a pick in there. It's tough. And he had 2, I know, but it's tough to throw the ball 48 times and not make any mistakes. You maybe retool your defense, because clearly Kansas City's offense is just 38 points. You're going to struggle to beat that, whether Josh Allen is playing a good game or not. Like, that's just not a realistic goal to say, let's try and go out and be good enough to score 40. You might want to get a new wide. I mean, they don't have that much cap room.
They have a decent amount. They're like middle of the pack cap, like in the middle of all the NFL teams. So they have a decent amount, but they have a couple guys on their roster who, if they cut, they would free up a lot of cap space.
I definitely think you could go out and get another wide receiver. I think Cole Beasley you could start seeing. I mean, he had a really good back half of the year, but you might start.
He was an All-Pro wide receiver this year. Like he dominated this season.
Yeah, and so I think you could get a third one behind Diggs and Cole Beasley.
I mean, John Brown has been when healthy is very good for them. He is a free agent this upcoming season, but he's been. I mean, I definitely think if they can just bring him back, then that does the job.
Yeah, and then it's more defensive than offensive. You don't really have any problems on offense. It's a lot of, and I don't know what you do to fix it, because I don't know how you stop Kansas City. I don't know what you change.
First thing, I definitely think they need to extend Josh Allen. The 2018 class, this is their off season to get extended, and you're gonna see guys like Lamar get a huge contract. Josh Allen definitely needs to be another one of them. Baker Mayfield will probably get a big extension. So extend Josh Allen. I think that is the number one thing that the Bills need to do. But they need to get in this game, and it has happened in several games in the playoffs as well. They don't really get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. The quarterback does have a lot of time, especially when Eric Fisher goes down. They definitely need to try to get to Mahomes, and it just wasn't really working, I guess, that much. They definitely need to improve their pass rush, and the run game for Buffalo is just I think they do need to figure it out, because they've taken a running back in the first 2 rounds of the draft the last 2 years with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and in several mock drafts, I've seen them taking a running back in the first round, like taking Najee Harris. So I definitely think they need to figure out who their guy is next year going forward in the run game. And then just, Josh Allen just needs to become a more all-around quarterback. And I'm not saying he's bad or anything. Like, he was very, very good this year. But he has a lot of times where he tries to do too much instead of just getting rid of the ball, throwing a short pass instead of trying to make a big play, where he had a lot of plays in this game where he would just run backwards for a while and then try to create something and then end up getting rid of it. Wastes a lot of energy for him.
He needs to mature.
Exactly.
It's more mature.
He just needs to grow as a quarterback and become a little bit more of a pocket passer instead of a scrambler, I would say. But yeah, the Bills have a very bright future, though. Like, this is not a one-year thing that the Bills are going to be good and then the rest of the time they're going to suck. Bills are going to run the NFC East probably for the next couple of years, so they definitely have a bright future.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bills fans should not be worried after this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas City
exceeded expectations this year, for sure. Next team, the Green Bay Packers. This one is a little bit different of what do the Packers need to do next year. They have a lot of interesting situations this offseason.
You see this team with like free agents out the wazoo. Aaron Jones is gone. They just can't bring him back. They can't afford. Like Aaron Rodgers said, he didn't mean it in the way that he's uncertain about his future with Packers. but that also could be a thing. I mean, the whole team is uncertain about a lot of guys coming back because they're in cap hell. But last year you drafted a QB in the first round to just not play him ever, which just seems, you don't draft a first round QB to be a backup. It's just not how it works. So it's, the Packers are so tough because I don't know what to do with the Packers.
There's a lot of teams like that in the NFL this year where there's just, they're in such a weird situation. It's just like, what do they try to still compete? Do they blow it up completely? The Packers are, like you said, Aaron Jones is going to most likely be gone in Green Bay. There is a couple guys who they could bring back one guy probably, but that's it. Corey Linsley, their all-pro center this year, is going to be gone as well. They have a lot of older guys on their offense. I mean, their offensive line is fantastic, but they're aging. David Bakhtiari, huge injury last 2 weeks ago. I think the number one thing, though, for them, and obviously I'm a Lions fan, but I am going to speak here as if I was a Packers fan. You got to make Aaron Rodgers happy, because after that game, he clearly did not sound happy.
No, he wasn't.
And obviously he wasn't happy with the Jordan Love draft and everything, and I don't know. I think you need to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, but I don't think that a trading Aaron Rodgers situation is out of the picture at all.
No.
I'm not saying go out and shop him around and take phone calls all the time, but I wouldn't keep it out of the picture because they just, like you said, they drafted Jordan Love to, you can draft a quarterback in the first round and bench him for a year and just have him sit behind a great quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. I understand. After the first year, though, it's like, what was the point of doing it, you know? And I know the backup quarterback is more valuable in today's NFL than it ever has been just because of all the injuries that happen. But I think that, honestly, it's not a bad idea to trade Aaron Rodgers, but it would be horrible for their franchise. It would just not be a good look that your Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks ever, all of a sudden wants out of Green Bay. And I don't think he does want out of Green Bay, but
if you start shopping him around, I think he will.
And that's why I say don't do that immediately.
Yeah.
Like definitely keep it in the back of your mind. Like, we could trade him, but don't try to trade him,
because then you're just pushing him out.
Yeah,
you start bringing up the idea of trading him to anybody, and he's gonna be like, "You just trade me." Like, I don't want, if you guys aren't for sure about me.
Now, for the Lions' sake, if Aaron Rodgers trade talks start coming up, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's good. We're like, all right, Aaron Rodgers is going to be out of the NFC North. It's bad, though, as we are also trying to shop Matthew Stafford.
And that's a third quarterback.
And yeah, now Matthew Stafford becomes quarterback number 3 behind Rodgers and Watson. So I don't know.
Who else I see that's getting shopped this year? What other quarterback is unhappy about their situation? Is there maybe that was it? Maybe that was it.
I don't know.
I felt like I saw something. It was like, I don't know. I don't know what I saw.
I'm not sure either. But yeah, the Packers are in a really weird situation. Their defense obviously is kind of the spot that needs the most help, though. They have a couple stars on their defense, but they're not a very good all around. They had several games, not just like in the playoffs, but this season, where they would have a great defensive game, hold a team to less than 14 points, and then the next week go out and give up 35 points. So a very inconsistent defense, but it's hard to improve your defense when you don't have a lot of flexibility with your cap. So they just need to draft well, and they need to make smart draft picks. If the goal for the Packers front office is to, okay, we need to keep Aaron Rodgers, make him happy, go out and draft a wide receiver in the first round this year. Like, if you want to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, draft a wide receiver, because I know you have Devontae, and everyone says the Packers wide receivers suck when they really don't. I mean, Devontae Adams is one of the best in the league, if not the best. But he's a free agent next offseason. So you don't want to risk him leaving and then having nobody, kind of like how the situation the Lions are in right now. So I would draft a wide receiver first or second round if I'm Green Bay, if the plan is to keep Aaron Rodgers happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that should be the plan, is to keep Rodgers
And even
happy.
if it's not the plan, you have Jordan Love, and he's going to need some decent wide receivers to throw to. So
he's going to need somebody.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to check on the video real quick, but let's talk about, actually, before I do that, let's bring up the next topic. Do you have anything else about?
No.
Okay, so, oh wait, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. Duh, we got to talk about Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Okay, so yeah, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Super Bowl. This is going to be crazy. I mean, it's just set up perfectly, as we have the greatest quarterback ever, I think non-debatably.
It's not debatable.
Against the one of the most talented quarterbacks ever, and he's very young, but definitely like the best quarterback in the NFL. You know, the greatest versus the best. Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was 6 years old, I think. It was either 6 or 9, I don't remember, when Brady made it to his first Super Bowl. Now they're playing against each other. Super crazy. Tom Brady makes it to the Super Bowl in his first year in the NFC. And what are we looking like?
I mean, these two have played some great games against each other. 2 years ago in the AFC, was it championship?
Yeah.
You were talking about it. They had the great game. I saw clips of the one, I don't remember which year it was, where Brady threw the pick at the end of the game.
I think they played 3 times, 2 or 3 times they played against each other, but
Kansas City won that one. I don't remember. I don't know if that was last year.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but
they've had some great games. I am so excited for this because no matter what, it's either like Brady is still that good. If he wins this, it's still the whole takeaway is Brady is still that good.
Oh yeah,
like, he's still that guy.
And he's the underdog going in this game as well. You know, everyone has to remember that.
And if he loses, it's just like the perfect passing of the torch to the new guy. You know, this is I brought it up the other day. This is Kobe and LeBron. If Kobe made it to the finals at the end of his career versus the Miami Heat LeBron, it'd be a passing of the torch moment if Kobe were to lose. And that's just it.
I feel like even if you win, even if Brady wins, it's still a passing the torch. Like, all right, I got my last one. Now it's you. And Mahomes obviously has won a Super Bowl already, so it wouldn't be as special, but it's still going to be crazy.
Apparently, after their last matchup, Brady sat outside the Chiefs locker room and like asked and was like, "Hey, can I talk to Patrick Mahomes?" I like went in there and they had like a secret discussion, like just those two.
Wow,
which is just like
crazy. And obviously, like him and Brady and Breeze, you know, talked after their game for a while, and he was throwing passes to Breeze kids and everything. We're not really gonna like talk a lot about this game because the Super Bowl isn't for 2 weeks, or I mean a week and a half now. And the Saturday before the Super Bowl, I definitely think we're gonna that's gonna be a full Super Bowl in-depth episode. But as of right now, I don't know who to pick.
No, me either.
I don't really care who wins. Honestly,
like I want to see a good football game.
I want it to be a great game. I don't want it to be the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl of 2 years ago, what the most boring Super Bowl ever. Last year was a pretty good Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a pretty good one.
I would love to see a 38-35.
Yeah, I mean, with the Chiefs in here, you can never say that it's probably not going to be boring with the Chiefs because their offense is just too good to be boring. The Bucs have a really a fun defense. They get a lot of takeaways, but we've talked about this several times. I think obviously the Chiefs are, I would say, the favorite to win. But the Bucs, key to this game to at least like make it a game is they just need to limit their turnovers. They cannot, they gave, like you said, 3 extra possessions to Green Bay with the picks. That you can't afford to do that against the Chiefs.
That's a 14-point
They will make
swing.
you pay. They will make you pay every single time. Very rare that the Chiefs don't score like when they hit the ball, whether it's 3 or 7. So they just need to limit the turnovers, and I know the Bucs defense is going to show up to play. I'm not saying that they need to shut Kansas City out, but try to hold them to under 24. Try to hold them to 3 touchdowns and see if your offense can win you.
I mean, playing most teams in the NFL, having a turnover is like a 6 to 14 point swing. Whether they get a field goal and you don't get a field goal, playing the Chiefs is almost a 14-point swing. I mean, they are almost always going to get the touchdown after you turn it over.
Especially depending on where you turn it over.
And that's 7 points you're not getting and 7 points they're getting.
And that's what's fun about the Bucs defense, because this Bucs defense the entire playoffs has been a takeaway machine. I mean, they get fumbles and interceptions, and Devin White has been a superstar. Sean Murphy Bunting out of CMU had a pick last week. So the Bucs, it's going to be it depends on, I want to say this is up to the Bucs defense, but at the same time, it's up to their offense. It's up to everything. They really do need to play the perfect game to win this one.
It's the Chiefs game to lose.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that if the Bucs have more than 1 turnover, it's over. You might be able to win the game with a single turnover. If they turn the ball over more than 1 time, Chiefs win. And honestly, if the Bucs don't create a single turnover, I don't think they win.
Me either. I don't think you can keep up with the offense of the Chiefs if you're not creating turnovers and getting extra possessions yourself.
And they need to play the long game as well. They need to
milk
control
the
the time of possession. The Bucks do. You're probably going to see a lot of Leonard Fournette and a lot of Ronald Jones in this game because the Bucks. That's another way that they're going to win this one. They need to have the ball more than Kansas City does.
I mean, this is a star-studded Super Bowl. There are so many stars in this game, past and present. I mean, AB is a past star.
Yeah.
He's out of his prime.
Le'Veon Bell is in this game.
Le'Veon Bell. Like, these are just random guys who are just here now.
Yeah.
Like, they're just in the Super Bowl.
It's awesome. I would love to see AB, like, just have, like, 2 touchdowns.
That'd be
Imagine
nuts.
he wins Super Bowl MVP.
That'd be crazy. There's
you think
no
AB
way
will still be in the league next year?
I'm not.
It's not going to be with 10. It might be.
It might be. He might just come back to play. I mean, Brady and AB get along.
Yeah, I mean, they do more than get along. They are best friends. They're obsessed with each other. It's kind of weird.
See, I've never noticed that.
They love each other.
Really?
All they do is post on Instagram about each other and everything.
That's hilarious.
You know, AB was living with Brady when he played for the Patriots.
No, I didn't know
Yeah, he
that.
was living with him.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and then he got cut, and then, like...
Yeah. That whole thing happened. I think that's... And they're just... I think Tom Brady really believes in AB more than anything, which is cool.
So the last NFL thing we're going to talk about, I saw this on Twitter. I don't remember who tweeted it, so sorry. But 2018, we had Patrick Mahomes break out as a superstar quarterback. 2019, we had Lamar Jackson break out as a superstar MVP quarterback. 2020, Josh Allen breaks out as a top 3 MVP candidate, I would probably say. 2021, who's it going to be? I mean, I specify this as a young quarterback because these last 3
were young.
were very young when they did it. So in 2021, who is going to be the next breakout, Pro Bowl, all-pro quarterback?
So there's 2 ways I can see looking at this. I'm not going to mention the other way because it might be the way you looked at it. Baker Mayfield was good this year. He was not great ever, but he had the best run game in football. Arguable. Not really. Probably not. You can probably go Titans.
Or I would say Ravens, honestly.
Or Ravens.
Top 5,
Top 5. And he's getting Odell Beckham Jr. back next year. And with one of the best run games in football and a young quarterback who was growing and showed a lot of growth even in just
especially
this year.
Especially late in the season.
Yeah. He grew and became he became a leader. Like even on Twitter and everything, he was just like really showing that he wanted to be a leader of this team. I've got Baker Mayfield as my next year breakout quarterback, even though he did have a good year this year. He wasn't bad this year.
No, I get that. I mean, it's like Josh Allen last year. I mean, last year Josh Allen wasn't great. He wasn't bad either though. Like he definitely improved last year from his rookie season. So yeah, I definitely respect the Baker Mayfield choice. I wrote down a couple like candidates here that I have like that I didn't pick, but like Kyler Murray is a pretty obvious one.
That was the next guy.
He's not. I didn't pick him, but he's just a guy who he has the speed, he has the weapons. I mean, he has a lot. He has it. Like
I mean, he's pretty similar to like a Lamar and.
It'd be very
Patrick
difficult
Mahomes.
for Kyler Murray to not succeed. I guess like he definitely has the ability. Tua Tagovailoa is another one where Miami needs, they have a good amount of cap space this offseason. They're probably going to draft one of these top wide receivers, whether it's Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith at pick 3. So he's going to have more weapons. So Tua's up there. I even, like, this one was just like a random one, not really a breakout, but Jameis Winston, man, I've been really, like, starting to think that Jameis Winston might be the answer in New Orleans, and a lot of people are. I see a lot of Saints fans that are on like Twitter and TikTok and stuff that are like, Jameis Winston is our quarterback next year. We don't need to go and draft somebody or try to do that. Like they are all in on Jameis.
I don't think that's a crazy thought. I mean, he was a Heisman winner at Florida State.
Yeah.
So at one point he was
Heisman winner's a little. Like Johnny Manziel.
No,
was a
I know,
Heisman
but I'm
winner.
saying like at one point he was the top of his like best player in the country at some level. Like, there's no reason he can't get back to that. I mean, he's not best player, but I can see him breaking out, especially with a weapon like Kamara and Mike Thomas. Like, Kamara makes it pretty easy for a quarterback to look really good.
But my pick, I feel like is probably pretty expected, man. It's Justin Herbert.
Really?
I really do think it's Justin Herbert.
I never would have guessed.
Herbert had a fantastic rookie season. In my opinion, he should win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Broke a lot of rookie records, Baker Mayfield's record this year, and new coach coming in, new staff in LA, a team that was bad but was competitive. Kind of like, it's like they really weren't that bad. Their record just wasn't the best. Ended up in the middle of the pack. They have a mid 11th or 12th pick or something. But I could see Herbert coming out next year with Keenan Allen, one of the best wide receivers in the game, a fully healthy Austin Eckler, and a team that has a lot of different running backs that run the ball. I'm going with Justin Herbert as my breakout.
Yeah, and that's by far not a blasphemous pick.
Yeah.
That is
I was going to wear my Herbert jersey, but I didn't want to make it too obvious, so
it wasn't.
And I've already worn it.
I think it was kind of obvious.
Yeah,
I kind of came here knowing you were going to pick Justin Herbert.
I have to though. I really do think he's going to. I'm not saying he's going to win MVP, but he could do a Josh Allen type year this year, where the Chargers could be pretty good next year too. I just can't wait to do for the NFL offseason. I'm usually not super excited for it, but it's going to be interesting. Next year's standings, I feel are going to be way different than this year's standings.
And I'm much more involved in the NFL this year than I've ever been, so I'm super excited for the offseason.
And that's the thing about the NFL, really a lot of years, there'll just be a team that sucked this year is good next year and vice versa.
Yeah, it happens
in
all
the
the
NBA,
time.
you don't see that much, so that's what makes it a little more exciting. There's a lot of teams that were bad this year that I could see being pretty good next year.
I didn't expect the Dolphins to be any good this year.
Yeah, and they're only going to be better next year. They have being the GM of the Miami Dolphins right now is one of the best jobs in the game, if not the best. They have a crazy bright future. So, are we good for NFL talk?
Yeah, I think so.
So, let's get into some NBA talk. We have a list that we're going to do in a little bit. But before that, let's talk about just some NBA talk. Current standings in the NBA. In the East, the 1 seed, Philadelphia 76ers at 12-6. 2 seed is the Boston Celtics at 10-6. 3 seed is Milwaukee Bucks at 10-6. 4 seed is Indiana Pacers at 10-7. 5 seed is the Brooklyn Nets at 11-8. 6 seed is Atlanta Hawks at 9-8. 7 is Cleveland at 8-9, and 8 is the Knicks at 8-10. So let's talk about the East a little bit before we talk about the West. The first team I want to talk about in the East is the Miami Heat, man. Right now, the Miami Heat are sitting at 13 at 6-10. We have not seen Jimmy Butler play in a while. Tyler Hero has been out as well.
Bam just came
back. This team has had a lot of randoms playing for them. Mm-hmm. But even when they had their guys come back, they lost to the Pistons by 20 the other night. A week ago.
They don't look right. Something looks off.
Something's up in Miami for sure. And is my question for you is, does Miami need to, because we've seen all these trade rumors about they have all these young assets to go get a star, but they won't they don't want to trade their young assets. Is it time for them to trade those young assets for a star right now, or do they just kind of coast this year out?
I absolutely think they trade a young asset to get a third star. I think if you can pay,
not a young asset, they would have to trade multiple young assets.
Pair somebody along with Bam and Jimmy. Pair a guy I don't know. There's a guy over in Washington who's playing kind of good, who wants to be traded. You can tell by the way he acts.
I don't think he wants to be traded.
Did you see the video?
He would have requested a trade by now.
But did you see the video of him?
He's been denying trade rumors for 3 years now.
I think that's just the way he is at this point.
I feel it, but the thing is, if he wanted to be traded, he could be traded like that. We saw how easy it is for James Harden. He could be traded right now if he wanted to. So does he really want to? We don't know.
But he's the first guy that you think of when you think of superstars.
No, I do get what you mean.
Or Levine. Levine is the other guy, I'd say. But you look at two guys like that and you pair them along Jimmy Butler and Bam. Holy moly.
I mean, a scorer is just the perfect thing for this Heat team. What I was gonna say is Levine. If I'm the Heat, I'm not really hurrying to make a trade right now because the East is pretty top heavy. There's a lot of Brooklyn is the 5 seed right now, and we know damn well they're better than an 11-8 team. You know? So the East, they might look at it and say, okay, we're probably not going to win a championship this year. We're probably not going to win the East like we did last year. So maybe we just coast it out, make it as a 6 seed. I mean, as of right now, they're not even going to make the playoffs, but I assume it will change. But it depends on what you have to give up because to get Bradley Beal, I really don't think they can put together a package that does not involve Bam Adebayo. I really don't think so. Unless you're giving them, Hero, Duncan, because Kendrick Nunn really has no value anymore. He doesn't even play, really.
No, it's really weird.
It's really weird to see how he went from pretty much second in Rookie of the Year last year to not really even playing at all this year. Sorry.
No, you're good.
But you would have to throw in several first-round picks, and I just don't know if that's what Pat Riley wants to do. Maybe he does, but LaVine, I think, is a lot more doable. I think you give up, but they don't want to give up Tyler Hero.
Yeah, it's Tyler Hero is the biggest trade meme in the whole league.
Can you get LaVine without Tyler Hero?
No.
You would have to give up Duncan. You can't just give up neither of them.
No, you have to give up. I think you have to give up both of them.
Because LaVine's value isn't like crazy high. Like I've seen a lot of trades that really diminish his value. But without giving up Tyler Hero, you have to give up Duncan. You could probably give him Kendrick Nunn. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't want him. He's from Chicago and everything. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, and like 2 firsts.
Is that enough?
Is it?
No.
In my opinion, it's not. But the trades I've been seeing, like that would be a good one.
Really? I think you got
I saw one to the Dallas Mavericks for Josh Richardson and Jalen Brunson, and that was it. Like, just those two.
I think people are a little understanding how good LaVine has been this year. LaVine is balling.
Yeah, I just don't know why his value isn't that high. He's not even on a bad, like, he's making like $22 million, I think.
Which is a good contract.
It might actually be like 20, which is a great contract for Zach LaVine.
For him. No, I don't get it. I actually saw a trade the other day that I want to talk about. Ben Simmons for LaVine, straight up. Like, if you're the 76ers, what do you think?
Nah.
No? I don't think so either.
Not at all. A lot of people were like, get way more for Simmons.
A lot of people were like, yeah.
The reason why I say no is because you didn't want to give up Ben Simmons for James Harden. So then you settled to get LaVine. And the thing is, I don't think that makes the Sixers any better.
I saw a whole different, I did see a whole different trade package that went Lillard to the 76ers. Okay.
Whoa.
Simmons to the Bulls. Lowry, Markkanen, and LaVine to Portland.
That just makes no sense.
It's just crazy.
Portland, that'd be
the biggest trade in NBA history.
Yeah, but that's just like a dumb trade.
Yeah, no, it is. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. Getting back to like the Heat though, they definitely do need to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. It's not volatile yet.
They do need to make a move like this. I definitely don't see this team just not making any moves at all this before the trade deadline and everything.
It's not the way Pat Riley is.
Yeah. But they just need to pick things up. The Toronto Raptors are at the 10 seed at 7-10. They have started to win some more games. Kyle Lowry's been playing a lot better. Siakam has as well, and Fred VanVleet. They've all been playing better. But like you said, the Washington Wizards, they still suck. They're 3-10. They are actually the worst team in the NBA percentage-wise. Really bad team. What do they do? Because, like, they just traded for Russell Westbrook, who, at this point, I really don't think you can get rid of, especially how he's been playing. I mean, just not very efficient. Good enough. And turning the ball over a lot. He is still putting up, decent stats, but it's just not
They're not doing anything. They feel empty.
It's not doing anything.
Bradley Beal's averaging 39 a game in the last 5.
Jeez.
And they haven't won.
Yeah, like Bradley Beal is obviously the star of this team. If I'm Washington, I probably would trade Bradley Beal.
Me too. You don't have a future.
His value's at an all-time high, and you have a couple guys, they have a somewhat of a future. Obviously, they have Rui and Denny, but they haven't been too impressive, at least this season, especially.
And then Bertans.
Yeah, Bertans, but
yeah.
Thomas Bryant already tore his ACL. I'm pretty sure he's done for the year. So this team is probably not going to make the playoffs.
Probably. I don't think there's a chance. Yeah, I really don't. I know you can't.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
You can't say there's no chance. That's
You're probably right though. So the Wizards, man, they just need. I would trade Bradley Beal.
Me too. I'd get the best package.
You're gonna get a lot for Bradley Beal. You trade him to. What's a legit trade for? I mean, we've talked about Bradley Beal trades.
And the Nuggets
over
is always
10 times on this podcast. But like who can give the most realistic best package for Bradley Beal? Is it still Denver?
It's still Denver.
Like after MPJ's been playing, he has been playing very well. You give him Michael Porter Jr., Gary Harris, and like 2 firsts. That probably gets it done.
No,
might
that
throw
probably
Bol in there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
maybe if they want him though, like
and that sets you up nicely. for to have a good future. Michael Porter Jr., Danny Avdija, and Rui can all grow.
And you still do have, and Westbrook now doesn't have to play with a star, so I know that he's still, you guys aren't going to be good, but he can still have the ball in his hands a lot and put up crazy numbers like he did back in OKC when he wasn't with anyone. So,
but Westbrook he could hurt your growth.
And the thing is, Westbrook also could start to improve this year. I mean, it's not like he's playing bad. He definitely is not an all-star so far, but he's still averaging probably like 20 and 7 and 7. But it's just not very good efficiency. He's missing a lot
either.
Any other teams in the East you want to talk about? I mean, Cleveland at 8-9. Colin Sexton been going crazy. We were talking about him.
I can't believe the Knicks are still in the playoffs.
Knicks 8-10. Julius Randle been balling for them. The Bucks are 10-6. Boston Celtics. They are a team that definitely needs to make a trade.
Oh, they have to. They aren't ready yet.
There's no way their team they have right now wins a championship. I especially gets out of the East. They have a great duo, and they have, Jaylen Brown has become a superstar this year, like for sure, like better than Tatum in my opinion. But their center depth is just going to get absolutely destroyed.
They're going to get eaten alive.
Like you see what Joel Embiid did to them the back-to-back games they played against them. Absolutely torched them, put up 40 in both of those games. There's no way they win a 7-game series against that team.
No way. And the Sixers, I don't even think they probably have the third best odds of winning the East in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to rank teams to win the East, it's Nets, Bucks, Sixers, like Celtics. You're not in that top 3. You have to jump. You have to do something to get up there.
There's been a lot of rumors, about Andre Drummond and Nikola Vucevic is starting to hop into those. Boston has this trade exception from Gordon Hayward to possibly make a trade. Vucevic has been absolutely balling like crazy this year, for sure an all-star. And Orlando is the 9 seed, so I don't know how apt they would be to doing a trade to get rid of Vucevic. But it's definitely not out of the possibility.
The thing that I worry about with trading for a guy like Vucevic and Andre Drummond is I can see them as a third option turning into just a good role player. You know what I'm saying? Like very quickly just being like, okay, you're not an all-star anymore. Like, you're just a good role player. And the hardest part about getting the big 3 is to have that third guy still be like, okay, he's still really good as the third guy. That's where a guy like Klay Thompson is the best third option in the league, like easily.
I've been seeing stuff about like Drummond getting bought out too, whereas honestly, I don't know if Cleveland trades Drummond this year. Like,
they've been doing good.
Cleveland is the 7th seed in the East right now. They have a nice young core, and Drummond kind of just adds to it. I mean, Drummond is not going to be a Cavalier next year, like for sure will not be, but. I definitely would not be surprised if he finishes this year as a Cavalier.
I saw a tweet the other day. This was actually really funny. And it said, if you ever want to know whether somebody is a true basketball fan or actually knows what they're talking about, ask them about their opinion on Andre Drummond. And it was the whole, like, I just got done watching a game of Andre Drummond, and he didn't move.
Yeah.
He didn't leave the paint.
If you look at the box score,
you think he's
like one of the best in the league. If you watch, you're like, man,
he is nuts.
Of course you're gonna get 20 rebounds when you just sit in the paint the entire time. But he actually, okay, I will say though, he's been a pretty good defender.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better. Like his theory, it seems like he's trying.
And well, because they're a good defensive team. I mean, Larry Nance Jr. has been the defensive player of the year so far. So they're on a better defensive. He's on a better defensive team. So definitely I would see him putting in more effort. But Brooklyn and Boston are 2 teams that both are going to be in the market for centers come the trade deadline. And trade talks have already started. I mean, before we get into the West, let's talk about the couple trade rumors going around. Derrick Rose, the Knicks and Clippers each have interest in Derrick Rose. What's a legit package we could get from New York for Derrick Rose, you think?
Oh, man, you're really putting me on the spot.
I was kind of thinking Frank Ntilikina and then the Clippers pick that the Knicks have for this year. I think they have the Clippers pick this year.
So you're getting Frank Nitty to what are you hoping from him? To be the
really
third?
Nothing.
Like to be, I mean.
Just to be a defensive point guard off the bench, I guess.
You hope he's the backup, or do you hope Saban Lee's the backup?
I would say Frank probably over Saban. I mean, it would be cool if Saban Lee was, but I don't think he will be.
Yeah, but you're hoping. What would you hope in that situation? Would you hope Frank Nitty just falls out of the rotation?
He could play. I would rather have Frank be good than Saban Lee.
Yeah,
because Frank is a good defender, and he's a taller point guard. You could play him and Saban Lee together, I guess.
You could definitely run.
I mean, they might give us Dennis Smith Jr. instead. I would rather have Frank, but I don't know what the Knicks would be willing to give up. Clippers' sake of things, I don't know, because the Clippers don't have much. Like, they would probably give us Terrence Mann, probably, which I would be cool with.
Okay.
I like he's kind of like Frank.
I would like him more than Frank.
He's an athletic defensive point guard. But what else do they give us though?
Yeah,
like we get no draft capital. But like as far as picks though, like I assume the New York can throw us a pick. They have hella picks from Dallas and the Clippers, so like they can throw us a pick. I would love that. And I assume there'll be other teams that'll be in the realm for Derrick Rose. A team that I still say, like, if I was them, I'd trade for Derrick Rose right now, is the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, to me, is Derrick Rose is perfect for them. Coming off of their bench, being their not their sixth man, because they have Jordan Clarkson, but actually, I don't know, though, because they have three smaller guards. I mean, because Donovan Mitchell's 6'1", Clarkson's like 6'4",
and then
you add D Rose. That's just a lot of smaller players getting minutes, I guess.
Who all like the ball in their hands.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so yeah, maybe not. I kind of forgot about Jordan Clarkson, but
I don't know where the perfect destination is for D Rose to be successful.
It's going to be on a contender though.
Yeah, I can see a team like the Nuggets.
Yeah. Monte Morris though has always
Monte
been their
Morris.
guy.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, obviously the trade deadline isn't till March, so we have plenty of time before we get into any trades like that. But
I hope something happens where he's being shopped and we're right there ready to make the deal, and boom, somebody's like, wait a minute, we actually want him
and get a better deal. Yeah, hopefully.
That's the dream.
And then the other trade was like the Pelicans and Warriors. We're talking about an Oubre deal. I can't believe Oubre's already being talked about being traded another time. And why the hell would the Pelicans want?
Why
Kelly Oubre? How does he fit your team that already can't shoot? Let's talk about the West, because I want to talk about the Pelicans. 1 seed right now, the Lakers, best team in basketball at 14-4. Utah Jazz, number 2 at 13-4. Number 3 is the Clippers at 13-5. They've been red hot lately. Number 4 is the Denver Nuggets at 10-7. Number 5 is Portland at 9-7. Number 6 is the Memphis Grizzlies at 7-6. Number 7 is the Phoenix Suns at 8-7, and number 8 is the Warriors at 9-8. The West has definitely been a lot better. I mean, all teams above 500 there, and then the 9 seed, the Spurs, are still above 500 as well.
So do you want to talk about the Pelicans first?
I mean, I just kind of want to say that they're garbage.
Oh, they're horrible. Anybody, like, we could have told you that the roster was built poorly before the season started, but there was still an opportunity it could work.
Yeah.
It don't work.
But then when your only shooters can't shoot, like,
you're screwed.
JJ Redick, I love JJ Redick, but man, he's been really bad this year. Cannot hit a shot.
He's like Danny Green was last year.
Yeah, in the playoffs. Yeah, like the Pelicans, Lonzo Ball is. I really do believe that Lonzo Ball will be traded during the season this year at the deadline, just because somebody's gonna pay him money. Like
somebody
next year.
will.
Somebody in the offseason will pay him, and you might as well trade him while you can, because he definitely still does have value. And I know that, like I said, there's a team out there that still thinks Lonzo Ball.
Do you think they're taking
a
bait? Do you think they're taking bait and it's a bad move? Or do you think that he still has the opportunity? Like, you say there's some team out there that thinks he still can be great and is going to pay him. Do you think that's a bad idea?
What I would do is, if I'm that team that kind of thinks that, I would trade for him, let him play the rest of the season, and then while the couple months he's with my team, then I decide, all right, do I want to bring him back or no? No? Okay, well, I'll let him walk. Because you could take the risk of, all right, I'm not going to trade for him and I'm going to pay him in the offseason, but then you pay him $20 million a year and he's just not that good still. Just like, oh crap, now I'm paying him $20 million for 4 years.
Just because you took the Lonzo Ball bait.
Whether I would just trade. I mean, obviously you're going to have to give something up to trade for him, but I would rather take that route.
I don't think the Pelicans could. I don't even know. I don't know what the Pelicans, because the Pelicans just need shooters everywhere. You can't have Steven Adams and Zion on the same team, because it restricts both of their minutes.
Yeah.
You can't play them together. It restricts both of them somehow.
And then the other team that sucks in the West is the Timberwolves, 15 seed, 4-12. Don't own their pick. They're in a bad situation right now.
It's top 3 protected though, right?
Yeah, top 3 protected, but it's very easy to fall out of the top 3 with the current odds in the lottery. So, I mean, I know that wasn't that much about the West, but
I want to talk about the Lakers.
Okay.
We saw LeBron. We got to watch it. That game, if you didn't get to see it, LeBron scored 46, 21 in the fourth quarter, and was just
absolutely went off.
Dominating. I mean, it didn't even... looked like he
miss.
was. Yeah, he was what 7 of 10 from 3.
Yeah, and he was. I mean, especially in the fourth, like he scored like I think 10 straight. I'm pretty sure. I think he hit 2 threes and 2 twos. Just absolutely dominated that game against a Cavs team that has been playing pretty good and one of the, if not the best defensive team in the NBA. So what a great show out for him. I mean, he is the MVP right now.
Yeah, and I really do think the Lakers are still the favorite right now in this moment to win the title.
I would say that they even after the Harden trade, right when it happened,
Lakers are so good.
Do the Lakers need to make another move? Maybe. If they don't, it's not the end of the world, but you might as well, just go all in you just might as well.
And their depth really does help them too. And the thing is,
I've been seeing Drummond to the Lakers too. Like, I don't know how that would work.
Who is going to, like, I really mean this, like, other than the Bucks, I don't know, maybe the Sixers. I don't know what team defends the Lakers well. Because, the Brooklyn Nets are going to come there and score the ball
any
really
team
well.
Or just Western Conference teams?
Just, like, I'm saying, like, teams they might meet in the finals.
Okay.
Like, the Nets, I don't think they can guard the Lakers. I don't see how you can guard LeBron and AD.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know how you do it. Who do you stick on them?
I don't know, because you can't really put KD on LeBron because that's just going to wear him down and not get buckets offensively. You're just going to have to hope that you can outscore him, I guess.
You can't start Bruce Brown. Like, Bruce Brown's a good defender.
Yeah, but he's not that good.
He's
going
to eat him alive.
He's one of the better on that team, but
that's the issue. Like,
the Nets definitely have a lot of moves to make before. Like, I don't see this team is not finished for sure. But
they have a lot of things to do. So
yeah,
they don't have any depth, and they don't have any defenders except for they have a couple token defenders who are decent.
Yeah,
just better than the other ones. I don't even call them defenders.
Right. So, I mean, is that anything else you want to talk about as far as standings-wise, or are we ready to get into our list?
Let's get into this list.
All right. So, the list for today, I know it's late in the podcast. If you're still listening, shout out to you as you're going to hear our list for today. So, it is top 10 duos in the NBA under 25. No, it is not 25 and under, so please do not ask where Porzingis and Luka are because they are not both under 25. So, Bleacher Report made their list. Should I say Bleacher Report's list? I wrote it down.
Yeah, you might as well.
So, Bleacher Report's list, top 10 duos under 25. Number 1 was Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Number 2 was Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. Number 3 was Booker and Ayton. Number 4 was Bam and Tyler Hero. Number 5 was Ingram and Zion. Number 6 was Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Number 7 was Sabonis and Miles Turner. Number 8 was Trae Young and John Collins. Number 9 was Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox. And number 10 was Colin Sexton and Darius Garland.
And this is a tough list because, again, you can look at it as how good are they together or how good is the talent overall.
Yeah.
So that plays into it. But
I don't think there's many players that are on this list that are just levels above everyone else. So I think it's a little easier than the backcourts list we did where you could take the one good guy, one decent guy.
But I just think with this list, there are a couple guys who I don't think work very well. And there's one group of guys who I don't think works that great. But I can go first.
Yeah,
number 10.
Do you have any honorable mentions or?
Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox are an honorable mention.
Okay, I just wrote down like 4 duos. Just weren't really I didn't rank them in order, but just I had the same 10 as Bleacher Report. My 4 honorable mentions were R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. I put Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey just because I don't feel like they deserve to be on there, but if you do have them, it's whatever. DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson, and then Shea and Lu Dort as my 4 honorable mentions.
And my number 10 is Shea and Lu Dort.
Okay.
They're not even any higher. Lu Dort isn't that great of an offensive player yet. Shea
he can shoot the 3 though, for sure.
He is 3-and-D right now. He is the definition. But Shea is unreal. I mean, he's been playing so well this year. And Lu Dort is just right, and he plays so well, and they complement each other perfectly. A spot-up shooter who plays clamps, they both play clamps, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And they work so well together, so it's hard for me to keep them off the list.
Yeah, my number 10 was De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. Shea and Lu Dort definitely were the 2 that I almost put over them, but I just kind of base it off of, okay, who's better, De'Aaron Fox or Shea? Honestly, De'Aaron Fox is probably better, but it's not by a lot. It's close. And Shea might be better, but I feel like Tyrese Halliburton has been a lot better than Lu Dort this season. But like I said, it's definitely I don't disagree with you taking them over him. But De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, it's great to see them succeed together, and it just makes you wonder why Tyrese Haliburton fell in the draft and everything because he's been so good. But it's a bright spot for the Kings as they has just not really hit on their draft picks in the last several years. So it's a good thing for the Kings that these two are doing well.
They really haven't hit on their draft picks other than Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, in general. I mean, Bagley, we don't know yet. Like, there's a lot of just we don't know.
Yeah.
So.
And my number 9 is the duo right down in Ohio, Sexland. You probably expect me to have them higher, in all honesty.
I figured, but...
No, they're number 9.
So you have them as the number, 6 backcourt in the NBA, but the number 9 duo under 25.
Yeah, I went home and I thought about it. That's all.
I also have them at number 9, though. Colin Sexton definitely has been the one. I mean, he's been absolutely balling this year, a possible all-star, as long as Cleveland continues to play well. And, yeah, I don't have much else.
Yeah,
we've talked about them
enough.
We've talked
about them so much. My number 8 is 2 guys that I thought I would have higher on the list, but I don't know. Trae Young and John Collins are at number 8. Trae Young's been super good this year, but John Collins has not been. He's just been.
He really hasn't been bad though.
He's putting up like 15 a game. And what I did is
think about how many options are on Atlanta though.
Yeah, and I know, but that's just it. Are they even really are they even really a duo?
I mean, a lot of these guys really aren't duos, I would say. Like,
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
But I don't know. I'll talk about Trae Young and John Collins when I get to them a little later. I feel like they're much better than number 8, though, especially this duo that I have next. My number 8 is Bam and Tyler Hero. I feel like they were ranked really high on the Bleacher Report list. They had him at number 4. Bam is one of the better players on this list. Like, he's probably a top 5 player on this list.
Tyler Hero is a bottom 4.
And he is, yeah, and Bam has played very well this year. Like, he's continued to just get better and better every time he plays. It's pretty crazy. But Tyler Hero is just one of the worst players on this list.
He's a bottom 4.
Like, I'm not saying Tyler Hero's bad. He in the games he has played this year, he has been pretty good. But I just hate how talked about he is. It's just like it makes me not want to be a fan of him because I like watching him play, and in the finals last year he was super fun to watch, but it makes me not want to be a fan of him by how hyped up he gets, especially when lists like these come out and he's so high. So I have them at number 8.
My number 7, I at first had Trae Young and John Collins higher than these guys, and then I went back and I checked some stats. I have Sabonis and Miles Turner at number 7. Sabonis, of course, everybody knows he's been unreal this year. I didn't realize how good Miles Turner has been this year.
Oh, he's like the defensive player of the year this year.
And he's averaging 16 a game, which is 2.5 more than John Collins, and is a leagues better defender than John Collins. Leagues. It's not even a competition.
Yeah.
So that's why I had Sabonis, Miles Turner higher. And John Collins' defense and Trae Young's defense really hurt them as a duo in my eyes because neither one of them can play it.
Yeah, and John Collins isn't bad, but Trae Young's pretty bad.
Yeah,
and Sabonis and Miles. Sabonis is a decent defender, and obviously Miles Turner is an elite rim protector and defender. So, I can respect that. My number 7 is not Sabonis and Miles Turner. It is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. I got them at 7. Michael Porter Jr. finally back. He's been missed some time, a good amount of time this year, but man, he's been balling since he's come back. The other night he had 30-some. But Jamal Murray, he didn't do what everyone thought he was going to do, at least so far this year, and that's become a 25 point per game scorer and just dominate. He really hasn't done that. But it's hard to judge that based off the bubble because it was so much different and everything. I'm a huge fan of Jamal Murray, and he has had a couple big plays so far this year, but this duo is definitely one of those duos that by the end of the year they could be much higher if I was to do this same list at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think it's tough for Jamal Murray to really blossom when he is surrounded by so many talented players. It's not like he's just surrounded by Jokic. I mean, Gary Harris is a very talented player.
Yeah,
Michael Porter Jr. is now back. Will Barton. I mean, Paul Millsap, who isn't that talented anymore.
Yeah.
But he's still a good player that gets buckets. He can get you a couple. So I think it's hard for one guy's stats to jump off the page if they're not having a lot of assists like Jokic is. My number 6 is Bam and Tyler Hero, and that's just purely based off Bam. And I do think they work really well together. I like watching Tyler Hero.
Over Sabonis and Miles Turner?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably switch those two if you wanted to. You could really switch 5 through 10.
Yeah, I mean, this list is definitely it's a tough one for sure.
But I went Bam just because of how great Bam has been this year in the games he's played.
And like the thing is, like I love Bam, and I definitely am more of a Bam fan than Sabonis. But like I'm taking Sabonis over Bam right now for sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm obviously taking Miles Turner over Tyler Hero. So
yeah,
that's kind of my opinion on that. But my number 6 is Sabonis and Miles Turner. That's why I was talking about them. The oldest duo on this list, they're both 24.
That's crazy.
I know. But I mean, you don't see many like four. This duo was one that we didn't know if they could play well together, and this year they've really kind of silenced that as they've been. It was a smart move for them to not trade Miles Turner last offseason. Sabonis has become a stud this year, playmaking as well, and the Pacers are playing well with these two, so I got them at 6.
For the most part, I think Miles Turner has taken himself out of trade talks. I think it's pretty much.
I mean, not really, because I feel like him playing good makes teams want to trade for him, though.
But I think
as far as Indiana, him being on like the trade block, I guess.
Yeah, I think it takes away the likelihood of getting traded.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think it makes the Pacers. It's harder for the Pacers to trade him away when those two are playing. Because that was the only reason they were going to trade him away.
Yeah,
it's because I don't think they can succeed together.
Yeah, Sabonis needs to play the 5, not the 4. Well,
yep.
He can play the 4.
My number 5 is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. They are another group that just complements each other so well. Porter can shoot, dribble, create his own shot, rebounds the ball exceptionally well, super lengthy. He's a decent defender, even with all that length. He's not that great, but he's a really solid rebounder.
And he has definitely the tools to be a good defender just because of his size and his athleticism. Not a lot of guys his size and his length can move as quick as he can. He's very similar to Kevin Durant.
Exactly. And Jamal Murray's still Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He's still very, very good.
He's still a guy that you can give him the ball and rely on him to score it for you.
Yep.
My number 5 is Trae Young and John Collins. Like, we don't have much to talk about it. We kind of talked about them enough. So the top 4, we have the same 4. Obviously not the same order, but...
Same top 4.
Same top 4. We might have the same order.
We could. The lowest I have is Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. at number 4. This duo is still very young, and they really haven't even played together. I mean, they're a duo, but they're not really quite the duo yet. And they're both really good, no doubt. I think this is one of the most, like, potentially the best. Like, this could be the best in 3 years out of this whole list, because these two are unreal. Jaren Jackson plays defense, shoots the 3, rebounds, blocks shot. I mean, he does it all. John Morant does it all.
Yeah.
I mean, these two guys just both do everything so well for young guys. They're not quite to like elite levels yet.
And I have them at 4 as well. And the only reason I don't have them higher is simply because they're just so young. Like for all the things you said, these guys are both 21 years old. Fantastic players. This is one of the few on this list that they are a duo for sure. Like they are a great complement of each other. I was really surprised when Bleacher Report had them as high as number 2 because a lot of people really, obviously the Ja hype is there and everything, and no one really underrates Ja at all. But Jaren Jackson really gets underrated in this league, especially on a lot of lists and everything. I think Jaren Jackson is and we haven't seen him play this year too, so that's another reason why I figured he would be lower. He is fantastic, and that's not just a Michigan State bias. He is, like you said, the definition of an all-around player. I mean, he does it all. There is really not many things he can't do. I can't wait for him to be healthy and get back on the court because the Grizzlies are fun to watch. Like they are a very fun team to watch when healthy. And both 21 years old. Like this duo could easily be the best duo in 5 years. And
I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the future of big men.
Yeah.
Big men are now molded to play like Jaren Jackson Jr. does. Like, that's just it with him. He is the future. He just is.
So, top 3.
My number 3, I think we're honestly going to have the same list. I really do. I've got Booker and Ayton at number 3. They're very, very good. And, again, this is another duo that complements each other very well. You've got the defensive rim protecting big man who dunks alley-oops, who actually really hasn't been catching that many lobs this year. Every game I watch, he doesn't even look to dunk it. It's really weird. Have you noticed that with Ayton?
Yeah.
He's
just not as aggressive,
Yeah. So that's why they're there. And they showed they can play really well. And the Suns are really good this year.
Yeah.
So
I have them at 3 as well. I was thinking about putting them at 2, but Booker really has not been as good as I thought he was going to be this year. Like, he definitely is not an all-star or anything this year. And I thought the addition of Chris Paul would kind of extend his game, but he just doesn't have the ball in his hand as much, which obviously makes sense, but he doesn't really shoot the ball as much. DeAndre Ayton, like you said, isn't really as aggressive as I thought he was going to be, but this duo is still very, very good and also very, very young. I expect them to improve, and I'm not saying they've been bad, but they haven't lived up to what I thought they would be. But I still have them at number 3. So
yeah, and my number 2 is the new. No, are they new? No, they're not a new duo. Brandon Ingram and Zion. Brandon Ingram is unreal. We've talked about him a lot. He's playing so well this year. Really shows how great that class has been.
Yeah, especially just how much they've grown. Like a class that really at first was that 2016 class was like, I don't know how good they are, because you had Ingram at 2, who was kind of a slow start. Jaylen Brown at 3, who was a slow start. And they've been playing, Siakam was a late pick in that draft as well. I got them at number 2. I think that Bleacher Report really just disrespected them, having them at number 5. Like, that's just kind of ridiculous. If it wasn't for these two, the Pelicans probably would have 0 wins right now. Like, the only reason they're getting wins is because of Brandon Ingram and Zion. Yes, Zion definitely needs to improve his outside game, but he does a fine job with what he does right now. I mean, he still averages 20+ points per game strictly in the paint as a 6'6" player. Super athletic. Been showing off his athleticism a lot more this year, which is great to see. This duo's defense, though, is very poor. Zion definitely is not the defender he was at Duke, which was kind of expected based off of the size of the college players versus NBA. Ingram isn't a bad defender. He has the size to be a decent defender, but he just really he's slow on defense.
Yeah,
he just does not really give him. It just looks like he's not really giving a lot of effort, which maybe he is, and he just doesn't have a lot of lateral quickness, I guess. But BI and Zion are another one of them duos that are gonna be amazing. I mean, obviously all these duos are gonna be great in 5 years just because they're all under 25. But I talked to Easton a lot about how high I am on Brandon Ingram. Like, I really think he could be the number 1 player on a championship team. Like, I'm really high on Ingram, so I got them at number 2.
And I think Zion has to grow a lot here, because I think as much as he helps his team, he also restricts his team a lot with his inability to play outside and his inability to play defense. Because he has the offensive style of a big man, but defensively he is not a big man. Like, he's just too short to be a big man. So he hinders his team without that outside shot.
Yeah,
because they have
especially when you have another center
because they have
paired
to have
up with
one
him. Yeah,
right now there has to be another center in the game with him, because he can't play defense on other teams' centers.
Yeah,
and 2 guys who both can't shoot in the paint, like, it really makes you go outside and look for. You have to get a specific guy, to play
shooting
your
center,
like a Miles Turner. I mean, he's a shooting center, but
yeah, I mean, he's like the typical, like, if there was a guy you could have, he's the perfect one. He does exactly what you need if you want a center that can stretch the floor, because he's also a terrific rim protector.
Exactly. And number 1 for me is, I think it's pretty obvious, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Really? I got Killian Hayes. No, I'm kidding.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are leading their team to, right now they're the 2nd seed, you said?
Yeah, they're the 2 seed, 10 and 6. They haven't. I mean, Tatum has not played really in a while.
Yeah,
he played
he's
the other
back,
night. Yeah.
But Jaylen Brown has been unreal, and we know how good Tatum can be. And I expect him right now. He is not that good. Like, he's not playing to the Tatum level we had last year. But I don't expect that to carry on throughout the entire season. And if it does, Jaylen Brown has proven himself to be better this year.
And this duo is a top 10 duo in the NBA as well.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say that about any other of these duos. Like, Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been excellent in the games that they have played. And JB, though, especially, has just taken that step. Last year, it was kind of who's going to make the All-Star game, Tatum or Brown. We knew it was going to be one of them. Jaylen Brown has solidified, maybe even All-Star starter. Like,
if one of them has to be an All-Star, it will be Jaylen Brown.
Oh, I think it's either they're going to have 1 or 2. Brown, I think, is for sure in the All-Star.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if they have to, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that duo is insane. It's really good to see Jaylen Brown break out, just because he got paid like 2 off seasons ago, and everyone was like,
wow,
oh, he doesn't deserve to be paid, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Yes, he does.
You're a liar. Put some respect on him.
So that's all for this week. Tuning in a lot of NBA games. Check out our last episode if you did not watch it. It was our first ever NBA Jeopardy episode. Super fun episode. Scuba won that one, so he will be back on for the second time. We're going to do it within the next 2 weeks. So
yeah, soon.
Expect that coming soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see you Saturday.
Peace.
Peace.